Imagine you wear both WHOOP and Oura Ring to bed on the exact same night, and they disagree by 45 minutes of deep sleep. Same body, same night, completely different data. So here's the real question. If your tracker is lying to you every single night, what decisions are you actually making based on bad data? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which device tracks sleep accurately, which one is wasting your money, and the one specific metric that separates a legitimate sleep tracker from a very expensive pedometer. Let's get into it. Here's something almost nobody tells you before you drop $300 to $500 on a sleep tracker. Your device cannot actually see your sleep stages. Not Oura, not WHOOP, not any consumer wearable on the market right now. I know that sounds crazy, especially when you wake up and your app confidently tells you you got 1 hour and 12 minutes of deep sleep last night. It looks so precise, so scientific, so official. But here's the reality, that number is an educated guess. Every consumer sleep tracker on the market today works by inferring your sleep stages, not measuring them directly. They're collecting signals like heart rate variability, body movement, blood oxygen levels, and skin temperature. Then a proprietary algorithm looks at those signals and makes its best prediction about what your brain was doing while you were unconscious. Think about it this way, it's like trying to read a book through a frosted window. You can make out the shapes, you can see that something is there, but you're always guessing at the details. Now, what does actually measuring sleep look like? That's polysomnography, PSG for short. It's the gold standard. In a sleep lab, technicians attach electrodes directly to your scalp to measure your brainwave activity in real time. They monitor your eye movements, your muscle tone, your breathing patterns, everything. That's how scientists and doctors know with certainty what stage of sleep you're in at any given moment, because they're reading the electrical signals straight from your brain. Your wrist tracker, it has none of that. And this is where it gets really uncomfortable, especially if you've been making decisions about your health based on this data. A 2023 study published in the journal Nature and Science of Sleep compared consumer wearables directly against polysomnography. The finding was striking. Consumer sleep trackers overestimate total sleep time by an average of 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes every single night. That means if your tracker tells you that you got 8 hours of sleep, the reality could be closer to 7 hours or even less. And if you're optimizing your recovery, your training, your nutrition, your work schedule around that number, you're building your entire system on a foundation that might be off by almost an hour. Seriously speaking, that matters enormously. Now, and this is where I need you to stay with me. Both Oura and WHOOP are working within these same fundamental limitations. Neither one can plug directly into your nervous system. Neither one has a brain scanner. So, if both devices share the same core constraints, why do they spit out completely different sleep stage data on the exact same night? That disagreement isn't random noise. There's a real reason it happens, and it comes down to what each company chose to prioritize in their algorithm, their sensors, and their hardware design. That's where things get really interesting, and that's exactly what we're breaking down next. All right, let's get into the actual breakdown. We've established that both devices are making educated guesses about your sleep. Now the question is, whose guess is more educated, and by how much? Let's go metric by metric, because this is where it gets really revealing. Pin metric number 1, total sleep time. This one is actually where both devices perform reasonably well, relative to each other. Oura Ring consistently comes in with tighter agreement against PSG benchmarks for total sleep time, and there's a structural reason for that. The Oura Ring's 3rd generation sensor suite uses infrared photoplethysmography, a 3D accelerometer, and a dedicated skin temperature sensor, all simultaneously. That multi-signal approach gives its algorithm significantly more data points to work with. WHOOP also captures heart rate and movement data, but it relies more heavily on HRV patterns and cardiovascular signals, without the temperature layer factored in the same way. More signals in equals more accurate output.
That's just the math. Metric number 2, sleep stage classification, deep sleep and REM. Okay, this is the big one. This is where the gap opens up significantly. In 2022, a study published in Frontiers in Physiology directly compared Oura Ring against polysomnography, the gold standard sleep lab measurement, across multiple nights and multiple subjects. The result? Oura Ring achieved approximately 79% agreement on sleep and wake classification. For a consumer wearable, that is one of the highest accuracy figures ever independently reported. Now, why is Oura particularly strong at detecting REM specifically? Because REM sleep correlates strongly with changes in heart rate variability patterns and body temperature, two signals Oura is continuously capturing with high sensitivity. When those two streams align with reduced movement, the algorithm can make a much more confident call that you're in REM. WHOOP, on the other hand, shows higher variance in sleep stage detection when tested against PSG. Its deep sleep and REM classifications tend to fluctuate more across independent studies. And honestly, WHOOP basically said, we're not a sleep tracker, we're a recovery system wearing a sleep tracker's costume. I don't mean that as a criticism.
I mean it as a genuine clarification of what the product actually is. WHOOP's architecture was built from the ground up around HRV-based recovery scoring and training strain calculation. That is genuinely excellent. That's where the engineering investment went. Sleep stage data in WHOOP is more of a supporting layer. It informs the recovery score, rather than a standalone output designed to be clinically precise. Metric 3, sleep latency. Sleep latency means how long did it actually take you to fall asleep? This is a deceptively tricky metric to capture accurately. Both devices struggle here more than their marketing suggests. Oura Ring tends to classify the transition to sleep a few minutes earlier than it actually happens, because reduced movement and a slowing heart rate can mimic sleep onset even when you're still awake and just lying still. WHOOP shows a similar pattern. Neither device is dramatically better than the other on this specific metric. They both have a tendency to underestimate how long you took to fall asleep, which, if you're dealing with insomnia, is actually a significant data blind spot. Metric number 4, nighttime HRV. Here's where WHOOP absolutely earns its price tag back. If HRV-based recovery data is important to you, and if you're an athlete or performance-focused, it really should be, WHOOP's continuous HRV monitoring is genuinely best in class among consumer wearables. Its algorithm for translating overnight HRV patterns into next-day recovery scores is sophisticated, validated, and actionable in a way that Oura's recovery readiness score, while solid, doesn't quite match. So here's the framework you actually need. If your main goal is accurate sleep stage data, understanding your deep sleep, your REM cycles, your actual sleep quality, Oura Ring wins this comparison. Oura Ring's sleep tracking accuracy is measurably superior on the metrics that matter most to sleep optimization. If you're an athlete who needs training load decisions, recovery scores, and strain-based guidance, WHOOP has the edge. Use it for what it was designed to do. Now, before you go adding either one to your cart, I need to give you a critical warning. Because here's what neither brand will tell you in their marketing materials, on their website, or in any of their promotional content. There is one specific sleep metric where both devices are significantly less accurate than most people assume. And it's the exact metric that your app is using to give you personalized sleep advice every single morning. If you're making decisions based on that number, you might be optimizing in completely the wrong direction. That's coming up right now. So let's talk about the number your app highlights every single morning. The one metric both Oura and WHOOP struggle with the most: deep sleep. And this one genuinely matters, because deep sleep is where your brain clears metabolic waste, where your body repairs muscle tissue, where memory consolidation happens. It is arguably the single most important stage of sleep for physical and cognitive recovery. Here's the problem. Deep sleep requires EEG brainwave measurement to detect accurately. You need electrodes on your scalp reading slow-wave electrical activity directly from your brain. Neither Oura nor WHOOP has that. Both devices are inferring your deep sleep primarily from movement data and HRV drops, and that inference introduces enormous variance. Independent testing from DC Rainmaker, one of the most rigorous wearable reviewers in the world, combined with findings from peer-reviewed studies, shows the same uncomfortable truth. Consumer wearable deep sleep figures can vary by 20 to 40 minutes compared to PSG data on the exact same night. 20 to 40 minutes on the single metric you're probably staring at hardest every morning. So what do you actually do with this? You don't throw your device in a drawer, you learn to use it correctly, and that comes down to 3 rules. Rule number 1, track trends, not individual nights. A single night's reading means almost nothing. Seriously speaking, 1 data point is just noise. What you're looking for is a 14-day rolling average. That's where the signal separates from the noise. That's where your device becomes genuinely useful. Rule number 2, stay inside your device's native scoring system. Don't mix Oura's readiness score with WHOOP's recovery score. They use completely different algorithms, different inputs, different philosophies. They are not interchangeable. If you swap between systems, you're comparing apples to engine parts. Rule number 3, cross-reference your data with how you actually feel. Research from the University of Warwick found that subjective sleep quality remains one of the strongest predictors of next-day cognitive performance. Your body has data your wearable never will. Seriously speaking, if your Oura score says 85 but you feel like you got hit by a truck, trust your body. The device is a tool, not the truth. You don't need a $300 to $500 device to sleep better, but if you already own one or you're about to buy one, now you know exactly how to read what it's telling you without getting fooled by the numbers. And speaking of knowing what you're buying, stay with me, because next I'm breaking down exactly which device deserves your money based on your specific sleep goal. That decision is simpler than you think once you know the one question you need to ask yourself first. So here's the bottom line. If sleep accuracy is your #1 priority, Oura wins. If athletic recovery and strain tracking matter most to you, WHOOP wins. But remember this, no wearable fixes a broken sleep system. That knowledge lives with you. Now I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments, are you Team Oura or Team WHOOP? And what's the one sleep metric you care about most? Seriously, I read every single response. If this breakdown helped you, subscribe, because next week we're exposing the one mistake most people make right before bed that no sleep tracker can save you from. You're gonna wanna see that.